Good evening and welcome. I'll call to order this meeting of the Committee of Council for Monday, July 1st, 2024. Mr. Harris, can you please call the roll of members?
Yes, Mr. Vice President. Mr. Madden. Mr. Arroyo.
Here.
Mr. Glees.
Here.
Ms. Gregg.
Here.
Ms. Diaz.
Here.
Mr. Hirsch.
Here.
And President Beke.
Council President Beke and Councilor Ahmed are excused this evening. A few friendly reminders. Please note that this meeting is being live streamed and recorded. Today's committee meeting does not have a scheduled public comment period, but councilors may invite public comment after each item on their agenda. If you are making a public comment, please do so at the microphone and state your name and address for the meeting record. Also, please take the time to silence any cell phones and/or devices. First, I'll hear a motion for the approval of the June 3rd, 2024 committee meeting minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Hear a motion in a second. Mr. Harris?
Mr. Arroyo.
Aye.
Mr. Glees.
Aye.
Ms. Gregg.
Aye.
Ms. Diaz.
Aye.
Mr. Hirsch.
Aye.
Thank you. First committee on the agenda is the Personnel Committee. Councilor Khalix?
Thank you, Vice President. The Personnel Committee has two items on the agenda for tonight. We have two nominations. The first nomination is the nomination of Michelle Bush for appointment to the Higher Education Authority. And the second item is the nomination of Patrick Hopkins for reappointment to the Higher Education Authority. And I think we have here Director Tina Campbell to address these two nominations for us.
Good evening.
Good evening, Director Campbell. So, thank you for being here tonight. Would you please share your thoughts about these two nominations?
Yeah, and is it all right if I share them together since it's for the same committee?
Yes.
So the first one is Michelle Bush. I'm happy to nominate her for this appointment to the Higher Education Authority. She would represent the city on this authority. Patrick Hopkins, who I'll talk about in just a minute, previously represented the city on this authority. Michelle can't be here tonight, but she will be joining you on July 9th. I just wanted to give you a bit of her background. She has been on our accounting team with the city for a little over 7 years. Most of that time she served as our senior accountant, but is currently actually serving as our interim bureau chief of finance and accounting. Michelle has a lot of experience in municipal work, including working for 14 years with the city of York, including time there as both a deputy controller and deputy treasurer role. So she's been a real asset to the city, and I recommend her for this role. And then Patrick, I don't know that he needs much of an introduction, so I'm not going to talk about his background. He is also currently out of town, so he won't be available either tonight or for the council meeting next week. But again, we can probably do this nomination without him present. I mentioned Patrick has been serving on this authority as the city representative, but we are needing to fill a resident or volunteer role on the authority, so we're nominating Patrick to move into that role and put Michelle in as the city representative.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from other members of the committee?
Just real quick, I'm not sure if you know the answer or not. Is it just one city representative on this?
Well, yes, city staff representative. The rest are city residents, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's all I was wondering.
Yep.
Are there any other questions, comments from council as a whole? From the public? Thank you, Director Campbell, for addressing these two nominations for us. Now I'll make a motion to move these nominations to our next council meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
Thank you, Councilor Khalix. We'll move to the next committee, which is the Finance Committee. Tonight we have one item on our agenda for this evening, Administration Resolution number 58, 2024, authorizing a financing project of the Lancaster Municipal Authority on behalf of Garden Spot Village. And I believe we have Dan Blakinger here to speak on the resolution.
You have to push the button, thank you.
I'm also solicitor for the Lancaster Higher Education Authority, and I'll just clarify a question you had about that. There's no official city representative on the authority. It's just the practice has always been to have someone, usually in the finance department, on the authority. So there's no actual required city representative, just to clarify. I'm here on behalf of the Lancaster Municipal Authority for a financing project for Garden Spot Village. The Municipality Authorities Act requires that, and this is a tax-exempt financing project that doesn't pledge any taxing power of the city or have any effect on the city's finances. It's a tax-exempt financing, and the Internal Revenue Code requires certain things be met, but also the Pennsylvania Municipality Authorities Act, which created the Lancaster Municipal Authority, that's how it's founded under that, requires that there be what we call a health and welfare resolution adopted by the municipality that formed the authority. This being a city authority, that means city council has to adopt this resolution. And really all the resolution is saying is what you'll find on the second page in terms of what the city has to find, that this is desirable for, this project is desirable for the health, safety, and welfare of the people in the areas served by the facilities being financed. That's the statutory provision. Lancaster Municipal Authority has done other projects for Garden Spot Village in the past, has done other projects for other retirement communities and mostly retirement communities in Lancaster County, and all of them came before this city council for approval. This particular project is described on the first page of the resolution as to what's involved. Nate Weber, who's the CFO at Garden Spot Village, is also here and can answer questions about the specific project. It's a $75 million financing, most of which is actually refinancing existing debt. About maybe 20 million, a little less than that of it is for new construction, and there's a list of the various things in this resolution, which include a new power plant system, skilled nursing facility renovations, and some other capital expenditures on the campus. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, what's involved. I'm happy to answer questions if you have any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Blakinger. Just one question. Can you clarify the location of the project and where it's going to be located?
It's in Earl Township and New Holland Borough, which is where Garden Spot Village is located, and most of it's in Earl Township.
Great. Thank you for the clarification. I'll hear any questions or comments from the Finance Committee.
If I may,
Councilor Diaz?
when you're saying that it's exempt, can you enlighten me with that? Non-exempt, I think that was what you said.
Pardon me? I didn't understand the
You
question.
had mentioned that Garden Spot is non-exempt, is that correct?
Well, I'd mentioned that, yeah, I did, that this is tax-exempt financing. In order to qualify for what tax-exempt financing does is it means that the interest on the bonds that are going to be sold is tax-exempt. That allows Garden Spot Village to sell bonds at a lower rate, because tax-exempt bonds sell at a lower interest rate, because people are happy if they're not paying tax to maybe buy bonds that are a little less. So this is tax-exempt financing. The only kind of entities that qualify for tax-exempt financing would be 501c3. I mean, besides manufacturing projects that can go through industrial development authorities, that would be the other exception. But for this kind of financing, it has to be a 501c3 charitable organization, which is what Garden Spot Village is. So it has to be that in order to qualify to be allowed to do tax-exempt financing, and then the tax-exempt financing gives it a better interest rate. So that's how it saves money for the community.
And are they similar to, thinking of, it's in Elizabethtown, I'm trying to think, Masonic Homes. Is it similar to them in reference to their nonprofit?
Masonic Homes also is, I believe, on 501c3. There are some for-profit retirement communities around, although not too many of them in Lancaster County. But Masonic Homes is the same kind of entity, yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilor Diaz. Any other questions from the Finance Committee? Council as a whole? And again, just to clarify, this resolution doesn't require any, won't put the city on the hook for any financing obligations or debt obligations. This is really for the city stating that the city will benefit health, safety-wise, welfare-wise from this project.
Right, the county residents, which include the city, will benefit from this is basically, and no, it doesn't put any risk to the city's finances or taxes. It doesn't really even put risks on the authority's finances, although the authority doesn't really have a lot to put at risk, but it's indemnified by Garden Spot Village as part of this project, meaning that if there were some claim against the authority, Garden Spot Village has to cover it. So there's really little risk at all, even for the authority, and there's no risk for the city.
Thank you for that. Any public comment? Thank you.
You're welcome.
With that, a motion to move administration resolution number 58, 2024 to the next full council meeting on July 9th.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That concludes the Finance Committee. We'll move on to the Public Works Committee. Councilor Hirsch.
Thank you, Councilor Arroyo. Public Works Committee has two items tonight, neither of which are really anything earth-shattering. The first of which is resolution number 56, recognizing Parks and Recreation Month. I see Director Stephen Campbell getting up. I don't know if you want to, the only thing I'll say is I know the Lancaster Rec is coming to talk about kind of all the work that they do in the communities. Is that correct, Director Campbell?
So you've stolen my thunder. Yes, I would like to invite, for next week, I'd like to invite not only the Lancaster Rec, Heather Digg from Lancaster Rec to join us if she's not on vacation, but also Andrew from School District of Lancaster. This is a resolution for naming July as Parks and as Recreation, what is it? Parks and Recreation Month in the city of Lancaster. And in the city of Lancaster, Parks and Recreation is unique because Parks is separate from Recreation. And it's an organization that was created in 1909 by the joining of the School District of Lancaster with the Lancaster Township to create the Lancaster Recreation. So what we're commemorating in the month of July for Parks and Recreation Month is really the combination and the partnership of not only school district, but Lancaster Rec and the city of Lancaster in creating a park system and the programming that supports the needs of the city of Lancaster and its surroundings.
Thank you very much, Director Campbell. I only have one question, which is, while we're talking about parks, I was just curious if the Parks Master Plan update is still coming along and if we can still expect that to be coming out in August or if that's going to be a little later.
I believe it is still very much on schedule to be completed by August. There's been a lot of community outreach. The Engage Lancaster platform had been open. I believe it may have closed as of yesterday for finishing off community comments so that the final presentation of the Parks and Recreation Open Space Master Plan can be finalized. But yes, it will be a guide for how we manage the parks for the next 10 years or so. And it's something we're very proud of because this time it focuses on the network of parks. We have 16 parks, and it would be focusing on the network of parks, how you get from one park or one asset to another, so that you would have some sense of where's active recreation, where there's water features, where there's bicycling, etc., a variety of needs, and hopefully it will focus on the signage that is necessary to get you from point A to point B.
Very good, thank you. I will open it up to questions from the Public Works Committee. Questions or comments from council as a whole? From the public? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to move Resolution 56 to our full meeting of council on July 9th.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Our second item is Resolution number 57, 2024. Director Stephen Campbell has stayed at the podium, so I'll let him speak to this.
Yes, thank you again. This is a resolution of the council closing out the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources Community Partnership Grant Project BRC TAG 26-176, Conestoga Pines Park and Walnut Street Fishing Area Master Plan. In the case of master planning efforts, DCNR asks that the city confirm that we've completed and approved the plan, and that we're intending to use it as a guide for design and further development of the particular area in question. And so this is much more of an administrative confirmation that we as city are doing that. We made a presentation about 6 to 8 weeks ago about Conestoga Pines Master Plan, what its efforts were. There was follow-up discussion, and I believe, and I apologize that I did not confirm this before coming to the podium, I believe there was a vote approving that plan. But if not, this is the opportunity to confirm that the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, that the city of Lancaster approves that plan and will be using it as a tool for ongoing development.
Yeah, I don't recall which meeting exactly we passed it, but we did vote on adopting the plan, and it was either May or June. I think it was the end of May, but anyway, thank you very much for that explanation, Director Campbell. I will open it to questions from the Public Works Committee. From council as a whole. From the public. Hearing none, I'll make a motion to move Resolution 57 to our full meeting at council on July 9th.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. That concludes Public Works Committee. Sorry.
Thank you, Councilor Hirsch. That actually concludes our regular agenda. The next item is the clerk's report, which I believe, Mr. Harris, you have submitted to the councilors in writing.
I have, yes.
Are you okay if we forego a presentation? And
I am.
awesome, thank you. Well, that concludes the tonight's committee agenda. With that, I'll hear a motion to adjourn.
Motion
Motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Or I guess a second first.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
That concludes this evening's agenda. Have a good evening.